there and welcome. My name is Gary Stom. I'm our Director of Solutions Engineering here at Youreka. Thank you so much for joining our on-demand video series titled Digital Transformation and Field Service, Real AI in Action for Manufacturers. If you happen to be in the manufacturing world and you're looking to modernize your field service operations, especially when it comes to data collection, technician enablement, and reporting, then good news, you're in the right place. In terms of what to expect for this series, it's made up of 6 short, focused videos that you can watch at your own pace. Each one explores a part of how manufacturers are using Youreka today to digitize their complex service workflows, empower their field teams, and unlock the value of structured data, and take these forms anywhere, whether they're on or offline in the most remote locations. Across these 6 videos, we're going to cover great customer stories, including our favorite customers with Weber, Diversey, and Flexco. Breakthrough new features like sketch pads, photo capture, annotation, table sections, dynamic logic that'll provide rich and complex data capture and make it feel like it's seamless for all of your end users. We're also going to have some amazing demos sprinkled throughout that's going to include our latest AI technology that's going to show how to accelerate implementation cycles and do some analysis on forms themselves. This will all roll up into powerful reporting and automation PDFs that'll be generated and so on and so forth. Now, whether you're managing inspections, assets, appointments, compliance, tasks, these tools are all designed to meet you where all of your work happens, even without that connectivity. Well, let's get started. In our first video, we're going to start with a brief introduction of Youreka. And I'm going to kick things off by going directly to our mobile application. And I'm going to play the role of a technician that's working at Assembly Automation, an organization that creates assembly robots that helps build items for customers. Now, we're going to go visit Global Energy, and we're going to inspect their assembly robot, and it just happens to be overheating. So we're going to replace a cooling fan as well as see if there's any other issues that we've identified. Now here's my form directly inside of the Youreka mobile application. I'm going to point out that you can take these forms anywhere. Works on or offline, and you're going to see all the guidance perform the same way and all that rich data surface inside of the form, whether you have connectivity or not. So all I have to do is read my form here, and it is going to guide me through that process. So as I answered, yes, I'm ready to begin, it then exposes exactly what we're going to be doing today. It'll show me even a running animation there of the assembly robot that we're going to be inspecting. And it's pulling that rich data from Salesforce, all of my work order details, account information, address information. This can come from custom standard objects, totally up to you. This is pulling from the work order, but service appointment and those custom objects, I'll keep that top of mind, that can all come in. Now, as I'm on site and I'm going to inspect the robot, first and foremost, I want to make sure that I've gone through all my safety checks and that I do everything safely and properly. Make sure that I can return home at the end of the day safe to my family. And if I'm not doing it properly, keep in mind that this process is going to stop us directly dead in our tracks to make sure that we do things the right way and make sure that we're all safe along that way. If I've forgotten any PPE, it'll stop me and remind me. But as I gather that information, I can then expose the next section, which is going to guide me through the actual inspection of the assembly robot itself. Now, the assembly looks great. The guards are in place. We're checking all the points for lubrication. I have noticed that the articulation is starting to do some grinding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture a photo of that robot. We can mark that up, and we'll see that in some of our later demos. And I'm also going to notate my issues. Today, we've identified that our robot is not articulating smoothly. It appears to have some rust and is grinding. We're going to add some lubricant to solve the problem. Now I'll go about my day and I'll complete all of my running tests here. But for demo purposes, we're going to skip on into our second page where we can see I've got a cooling fan there to resolve my overheating issue. So keep that top of mind. This is pulling those line items, could be products, product requested directly from Salesforce, inheriting those related lists into the form. And I'm going to add one additional line item here on the fly. I'm going to add that lubricant because of that grinding experience that we've had. And it is going to sum all of that data up. This is great for field quoting, for instance, so you can build a quick quote by adding those line items, looking up price book entries, and so on. And I'm going to wrap this up. Now that our robot is up and running, we're going to submit this. Do keep in mind we're in an offline state, but as we go back online, it's going to sync all of that rich data back into Salesforce. To show you exactly what that looks like, I've again started from the work order, but you certainly can start from any object you'd like inside of Salesforce. And as I refresh this record, we're going to see comments pushed directly to the work order. We're going to see new work order line items that have been created. And the form itself will have a carbon copy that's associated with that work order as well. Here's my comments that I've captured out in the field. We can report off of any of this data. We can run analytics on it. We can use our Agentforce automation to determine that data and feed downstream automation like follow-up work orders that may need to be created. Here's my quote that I've built out on the field for all those products that were consumed. We can build that back to the customer should we need to. And then, of course, I can click directly into my form here and see all of the rich data that we captured out in the field living directly inside of that form. Now, as an end user here, I can make any changes that I may or may not need. This is great. You can bring these forms anywhere, not only on mobile and those offline solutions, but you can also take it to community, desktop. Our auditors can edit this form and have the same type of look and feel experience directly inside of the form on desktop there as well. Now, as I wrap up our demo here, just want to drive home a couple of key points. Of course, it's critical to understand that in the manufacturing world, there's rising complexity. Some of these assets that we're servicing and installing, they're very, very complicated. There's all sorts of pressure from regulatory compliance as well as workforce gaps. Some of our technicians that have been there for 10, 15, 20 years are now retiring. So the question begs, how do we start to get our new technicians up to speed as quickly as possible and give them a good experience so that we can retain those employees? Well, Youreka can do all that through its guided smart forms that you can take anywhere on any experience. And keep in mind that this is 100% native to Salesforce. So that means if you're comfortable, if Salesforce is your platform of choice, we're building forms in there, we're completing forms in there, and the data just automatically lives inside of the Salesforce environment. It's designed mobile first, but can be used anywhere. And it's also available on or offline. And then most importantly, for those complex cases, if you've got multi-language, if you've got many different forms that you need to build out, many use cases, Youreka is a great fit in those respects. Now, I'm really excited to, after our intro, I want to hand this off. On our next video, we're going to start to talk about real-world wins for the manufacturing teams. This is where we're going to dig into a couple of our use cases and tell some of our success stories with Connor Madigan. He is our senior solutions engineer from Youreka, and he'll walk through each of those stories here in our video number 2. Stay tuned, and thank you so much for the time.